Hey everyone, it's JT O'Donnell, the founder of Work It Daily, and today I am going to be presenting 8 ways you're being shut out of the hiring process. That is no fun, right? Raise your hand if you are watching this and you are tired of sending your resume into a big black hole, never hearing back from anybody and feeling like a failure. If that's you, then you've come to the right place. And I'm really excited to share with you how you can get past these things that are holding you back from success. So, before we get started, I just want to ask a favor. I want you to close everything down and really just give yourself this time to invest in your career. One of the funny things that happens after we finish school is that people think that they're supposed to go it alone in their career, and they don't invest enough in themselves to advance their career. There's a reason pro athletes and executives are so successful, and it's because they invest, they pay for coaching, oftentimes multiple coaches, because they know they can't go it alone. And that's why I've committed myself and built this company around helping everyone get the access to career coaching they want and they need so that you can compete. We're leveling the playing field. So it's not just executives and pro athletes that can succeed. You can succeed in your career. Specifically, you can succeed in your job search, but only if you invest in yourself. So give yourself this time to really listen today, okay? And the second thing I'm going to tell you before we get started is that you're going to get a reward for staying until the very end. So I want you to stay with me because there's a very special incentive I'm going to give you that you're not going to want to miss out on. So I don't want you regretting it, okay? All right, so let's begin. You know, like I said, who should be watching this today? I think I pretty much gave that away to you. It's really anybody who's feeling drained, they're feeling rejected, they're feeling confused and insecure, they're frustrated, they're demotivated. If you're checking all those boxes right now, if you've been at job search for a while now, you know what I'm talking about. And that is not a good feeling. You didn't work your whole life to feel like this. But again, you're going to learn today, it's not your fault. Now, how do I know it's not your fault? Well, I've been at this for a while. If you're not familiar with my work, let me just tell you, I've been in staffing and coaching and recruiting for over 18 years. I worked in the corporate world, and then back in 2001, I realized I wanted to come to the other side. I wanted to level the playing field. So I started a career coaching practice. Fast forward to today, and we have Work It Daily. It is now one of the largest career support sites in the world. You can get online and you can work with us. We have over 1 million people coming to the website every single month. And we're passionate about getting you the right information, cutting edge information to keep you on top of your career game. Again, we want to be your career coach. Just like pro athletes and executives, you should have one too. Now, where do I get this information? Well, being in this industry, I get access to industry trends and insider information. And I like to write about this as much as possible. So I'm also a contributor to Inc. magazine, Fast Company, and I'm even in a syndicated column that runs in 100+ newspapers in the US. So I just want you to know this is my passion. This is my calling, and I do everything that I can to get you the right information that you need. And this is the stuff that you're not going to hear in other places. So please understand that we're committed, I'm committed to making sure that you are more empowered in your career, okay? So with that in mind, I want to get right down to business and start talking about these 8 ways you are being shut out of this hiring process. Now, the first way you're shut out is that you don't have a plan of attack. And you're saying, of course I do, JT. I want a job. So I'm out there, I put my resume together, and I'm applying to jobs. I have a plan of attack. Well, that might be a plan of attack. I guess we can try to call it a plan of attack. Unfortunately, it's not the right plan of attack. And the truth is, half of professionals today don't really know what they should be doing in order to get that new job and succeed in their career. I can tell you right now, just slapping your resume together and applying to as many jobs as possible is not a good strategy. It doesn't work. In fact, you wouldn't be here watching this video if it did work. So that is something that you need to change. And you might say, but what am I supposed to do? That's how everybody looks for work, JT. That's how it works. No, it doesn't. Majority of people today that get new jobs don't get jobs through this. And you might say, well, that's what I've been taught to do. Well, again, no, you weren't taught that actually. School taught us everything about life and work, except how to build a satisfying career. They didn't really teach us those skills, did they? So you're just doing what you heard other people are doing. It's kind of like the blind leading the blind. That's not a good thing, right? You want to be able to pursue a job search in a more strategic fashion, in a way that's going to get you the results and make you feel good about yourself. And this way that you've been doing it, it's not working. Did you know that the average job search in America is about 6 to 9 months? I want you to ask yourself right now, how long have you been looking for work? And maybe you're falling into this, maybe it's longer. The reason for that is because the strategy isn't working. And it's the definition of insanity to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. So if you've been applying online and you're not hearing back, that is insanity. You need to stop what you're doing. You need a better strategy. I can tell you the biggest thing that you should take away from today is that spraying and praying doesn't work. It does not work, and that's what we call it. Applying to all sorts of jobs, spending hours on online applications, and hoping that you will hear back. And in a minute, you're going to hear why spraying and praying doesn't work. But I think you already feel that. I think you already know that because you're not getting the response you're looking for. So the solution I want you to take away to this is having a strategic job search plan and not just throwing your resume out there to anyone. There has to be a plan around who you want to work for, how you're going to connect with them, how you're going to impress them, and how you're going to get that job. That is the strategy that you need to build. And it's not rocket science and it's not brain surgery, but up until now, nobody's ever taught you that. So don't beat yourself up. You've been using misinformation and outdated techniques. It's not your fault, but now today, from this day forward, you can't phone it in anymore. You can't keep using these things that don't work. So the second reason you're being completely kicked out of the hiring process is because of ATS. ATS is broken. You probably don't even know what ATS is. Let's talk about that for a minute. ATS is applicant tracking systems. So as we started to look for work online, as sites like Monster and Career Builder started allowing companies to post jobs online, they went from getting a few applicants for a job to getting hundreds, sometimes thousands of applicants for a job. Now that's really tough because now I'm a recruiter and I'm getting all these resumes and I'm supposed to go through them all and I'm getting blurry-eyed and I don't know how to possibly decide, which resumes to look at and who to call. So they built technology, applicant tracking systems. So what happens now when you apply online is your application goes into this big bank with all the other people that have applied. And recruiters aren't going to look at every single one of those. So the ATS system uses keywords to narrow it down. You're not getting through these systems because you are not optimized for the ATS. And even if you were optimized for the ATS, let's just talk about the odds. Believe it or not, 8 out of 10 times, right now using this technology, your resume never even gets seen by a human. Just gets tossed out by the ATS because you're not a fit. And it could be from anything from you didn't fill out the right answer, you left something blank, you didn't have the right years of experience, because that's what they do. They pick and choose these random things in order to really weed out the majority of the candidates so that they only have 10 or 20 resumes to look at instead of 2,000. 3% of the people that apply online ever get a phone call about a job opportunity. 3%. So the only way that you can move forward in this and not be shut out is to go around the ATS. And you might say, but JT, how can I do that? It says apply online. Well, guess what? There is a job search strategy that involves you never applying online, that has you researching and connecting with the hiring managers and finding out about hidden opportunities and getting referred into companies, dream companies. And it's a lot more fun, a lot more rewarding, a lot less time intensive. So once again, that old job search strategy, it doesn't work because of this, the ATS system. All right, number 3, the reason that you are not getting any of those phone calls is because you're not a specialist. Most people think the right thing to do is to let a company know they're the Jack or Jill of all trades. I can do everything. I can do this, I can do that. So they fill their resume, they fill their cover letter, trying to tell them they can do absolutely anything. Doesn't work. Think about this. Companies want specialists. They want to hire somebody to do a specific thing. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you have to be the aspirin to their pain. Companies don't hire just for the heck of it. They hire somebody because they have a need. They have a pain point. There's a problem. And they're going to spend good money to use your services. You should think of yourself, we always say at Work It Daily, as a business of one selling your services. The more valuable your services are, the more they solve a problem or alleviate a pain, the more they're the aspirin, the better. The more opportunities you'll have and the more money you'll make. And so if you aren't branding yourself as a specialist, if you don't know how to do that on things like your resume and your cover letter, LinkedIn profile, even in your interview, you are not going to get the job. So the way to figure that out is justifying the cost of hiring you. How much money can you save or make a company with your skills? How much money have you saved or made companies in the past that really justified your salary, your benefits, the whole idea of having you on staff. That is what you need to get clear about, because that's what's going to sell a company on choosing you over somebody else. Did you know this? This is an interesting stat, that the average cost to hire someone is about 130 to 140% of their salary. It's not just the salary, it's the benefits, it's the training time. It's all those other things that they have to do. So they take this very seriously, and they want to know that they're hiring the right person for the job. The way you prove that to them is showing what a specialist you are in alleviating their pain. Branding yourself as a specialist shows the company your value. And that value proposition is what makes them buy your type of services, buy from you. The better you get at that, the easier it will be for you to land a job. So what I want you to take away today is, am I branding myself as a specialist? Am I clear on the problems that I solve? And am I marketing that? Do I know how to show them how I alleviate pain? If not, then this is one of the reasons why you're not getting called for job interviews. All right, let's talk about number 4. You don't have any network at your dream company. Right? This is such a big one, because when it comes to your career, your network is your net worth today. We are all socially connected. We're going to see more on that in a minute. We're all just a few degrees of separation away from everybody else. And if you know how to leverage your network properly, you can get introduced and connected to people at your dream companies. Now, what are dream companies? These are companies that are on your bucket list. And this is something that we teach you as part of our job search plan at Work It Daily. We teach you how to choose who you want to work for. And we show you how to make them earn a spot on your bucket list. And I want you to think about that for a second. Because up until now, what have you done? You decide you want a job, you go and you look at job postings, you try to fit yourself into a company, you try to get yourself excited about whatever's there that day, whatever jobs happen to be open. It's kind of like going to the used car lot or even the junkyard and saying, all right, I have to pick a car out of this lot. Hard to get excited, right? But now I want you to imagine choosing who you want to work for, because you love what they do and how they do it and the way they treat their employees, and you feel aligned with their mission. And being able to say, yes, I want to work for you, and getting a job. How would that feel? It'd be like going and customizing and choosing the car of your dreams and picking the color, picking the features, and knowing you got exactly what you wanted. That would feel pretty good, right? But instead of buying the car and having to pay a lot of money, how about you get the job and you get paid a lot of money? That's even better. That is why networking is so important, because 80% of jobs come from a referral. So if you have a network that can introduce you to the companies on your bucket list, what's going to happen? You're going to be able to access and connect with people at the dream company and get hired. When you don't do that, you are severely limiting your options for employment, severely. And that's no fun. If you've been job after job and just never felt really excited about the company you're working for, then that's a sign that you haven't built a network and you're not leveraging it properly. So when we don't leverage from the right people, we can't get connected to them on LinkedIn. We can't be found in LinkedIn. We can't get what we need. And you'll see more about that in a minute. And that's just going to slow this whole job search process down for you. So the solution is to start focusing on your relationships, both online and offline. Now, again, it's not rocket science or brain surgery, but most people haven't been taught how to network. You might say it's common sense, JT, but it's not. There's a real specific process that you should be following to make new online connections with people that you've never even met before. And once you learn how to do that and expand your network, that's when you're going to start to see the results. All right, number 5, your cover letter is redundant. So here's a funny fact. Cover letters were invented, the concept of sending a cover letter was to be able to show that you could write well. It was how companies were able to assess people's writing skills. But fast forward to today, and there's all these templates out there, and everybody's using the same template, and cover letters all read exactly the same. And that is why 50% of recruiters claim they don't read cover letters. There should be a little asterisk next to that, because they always open the cover letter. But the moment they read the first 2 sentences, and it reads just like every other cover letter that's been sent to them, they just discard it. Even worse is when in the cover letter, all you do is talk about the things that they're going to read in the resume. All they have to do is look at the resume to know about your skills and abilities. That's not what a cover letter is for today. You need to write something called a disruptive cover letter. You need a cover letter that connects you to the company. That's what gets read today. If you don't do that, your resume will not get read. They need to hear a story. They need to understand how you are a member of their tribe. When you do that, you're going to entice them to read the resume because they're going to get so excited about you in the cover letter. They're going to say, well, let me go see their skills and abilities. They didn't mention that in the cover letter. I need to learn more. I need to go check out their resume. So you see, the cover letter today has to entice them. It's the marketing materials that's going to get them to actually look at the resume. When you do that, when you build a disruptive cover letter, you are essentially getting them at hello. And one of the things that we teach at Work It Daily, one of our most popular platforms, is the disruptive cover letter. We teach you how to write a short story, a cover letter that just makes them go, wow, I have to talk to you. And I can tell you, I will swear right here, that every single day inside our Work It Daily platform, somebody posts a comment that they just got a call from a dream company on their bucket list because of the disruptive cover letter that they sent. And the recruiter says, that was the best cover letter. I couldn't wait to talk to you on the phone. Once again, if you're using one of those outdated conservative cover letters, it's not getting read. You need a disruptive cover letter to bypass you to the front of the line. All right, number 6, talking about cover letters, let's move on to resumes. Your resume isn't streamlined. I just went on a rant earlier today about resume writers and why they are such a poor investment. That is not where you should be investing your money. Resume templates are out there, they're everywhere, and they're often used by professional resume writers. They're not designed for recruiters. If you think about it, when you pay hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars to have your resume done, that person's customer isn't the recruiter, it's you. And you don't know anything about resumes. You don't know anything about recruiting. So when they send you a fancy dancy resume with fancy fonts and all this text and it makes you sound so important and it's 3 pages long, you fork over your money and you think they did a great job, but then nobody contacts you. And that's because that's not the resume that recruiters want. Not even close. Recruiters only spend 6 seconds on resumes. They are skimmers. And that is because they get so many applications and so many resumes. They can't possibly read line by line. They wouldn't get through them all. So they're trained to skim a resume and look for very key things. And if your resume isn't designed in a streamlined format, they get information overload. These resumes that resume writers design, they're not built for recruiters to skim them. And as a result, they're putting you in the no pile, or I'll get back to it later pile when I actually have time to read it. And oh, by the way, I don't have any time to read it, so I'm never going to look at it again. If you can't show your value, if you can't create a series of check, 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 check in the recruiter's mind in 6 seconds, you've lost them. And so we've built, once again, many years in recruiting, we've built the resume format that recruiters want to see, are going to read, and are going to call you on. They look for specific keywords, they look for numbers, and they look for it in a format that has white space, that makes it easy for them to go down the page and assess you quickly. Now, once you know how to do that, your resume is going to stand out. So whether you work with us at Work It Daily and you use our template and our tutorial to literally revamp your resume in an hour, and then work with our coaches to get it reviewed and approved, yes, that's what we do. But if you don't want to do that, my advice to you today is your resume needs to be streamlined. Find a way to make sure that you've simplified the resume so that it is 6-second worthy, okay? Because this is a big one. This is why so many people get tossed. All right, number 7, your LinkedIn profile is not optimized. Did you know that the #1 source recruiters are using today when they proactively look for candidates is LinkedIn? Now, what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of companies have stopped posting jobs because they're tired of getting hundreds and thousands of resumes from people who aren't a match. We get all this is why the whole system's broken. You know, people just sit there and spray and pray, what did I say earlier, and send their application out to all these companies that they're not a fit for. Well, recruiters are tired of that. And so instead what they do is they figure out the kind of person they need, what key skill sets, and they get on LinkedIn and they pay on LinkedIn to have access to this platform that lets them search and find the profiles of people who match their skill sets. But here's the problem. According to LinkedIn, less than 50% of the 500 million people on the platform have a properly optimized profile. So problem for you if you're not properly optimized, but opportunity for you if you are optimized because everybody else isn't. So you can see why that's pretty important these days. If you want to get more recruiters contacting you and saying, hey, we have a unique opportunity at our company, and honestly, who wouldn't want that? Instead of applying to jobs, wouldn't you just like the recruiters to call you? One of the secrets to that is properly optimizing your LinkedIn profile. Now, without an optimized profile, you're not going to show up in the search results. That's what I just explained. And just so you know, when recruiters do a search, it gives them about 50 people. It can give them more than that, but they're usually not going to go through more than 50 people. What you've got to learn how to do is how to be in that list of 50 so that they will actually review your profile. And then you've got to have the profile set up so that you're really checking all the boxes for them, just like in the resume. So the solution here is knowing what skills to feature on your LinkedIn profile. So how do they tie to the types of jobs that you want, the types of companies that you want to work for, and then how to put those in the LinkedIn profile to get noticed. Now, if you don't know how to do that, you want to get some help. What did I say today? And that's one of the reasons why we built an entire video tutorial series on LinkedIn. Every single section of LinkedIn, we tell you exactly what to put in there and why, so that you can understand how to optimize it for recruiters. All right, we're finally at number 8, and that is failure to validate yourself in the interview. So the first 7 were all about you just even getting a phone screen, getting a phone interview. This last one is you finally get there. You finally get someone to call you and set a meeting, and you blow it in the interview. Now, why is that? Because if you don't know how to properly answer their questions, you will bomb. It's unfortunate. I don't think it's fair, but the truth is the people that get interviews and move on are the people that know how to answer the questions properly. It's not the best candidate. It's not the most talented. It's people who know how to interview. And today, there's just an expectation that your interview skills be at that level, specifically when it comes to answering something called behavioral questions. So let's talk about that. 75% of recruiters today use this technique, and it's a technique where they ask you an open-ended question and have you respond. Now, why do they do that? Because when they ask you that question, you start to say, for example, tell them about a time you had to work with a difficult customer or you had to overcome a challenge. You've gotten those questions before. What they're doing is listening to how you respond, and specifically, they're looking for things like your personality, your aptitude, your ability to adapt, and your actual experience. And they're assessing all of that, and believe it or not, in that order, because 1, they want to make sure you can get along with everybody. 2, they want to make sure that you can do it their way, adapt to their style. And then 3, do you have enough experience to hit the ground running? So this is the technique that they use. And if you don't know how to answer questions in a way that really hits on all of those things, you will bomb the interview. So the solution is to know how to answer behavioral interview questions properly. And one of my favorite things about our interview prep is that people say it's like stealing the opponent's playbook. It's like having the inside track on what recruiters are going to ask. And I've had people say this all the time. They go in, and sure enough, we teach you all the most common behavioral interview questions and how to answer them, especially the tough ones, and then they get in there and they ask them the question and they know what to say, and they're not umming and ahhing and stalling and trying to find an answer. They know what to say. Imagine what that would feel like to you if you knew what to say in an interview. How much more relaxed would you be? How much more confident would you be? How much more fun would you have getting to know the person because you're not all up in your head trying to think about what you need to say? That's why prepping for your interview and understanding behavioral interview questions is so important. Okay. So I just went through the 8 ways that you are getting shut out of the hiring process, and right about now is when people are going, oh my gosh, JT, this is too much. This job search is too much. I can't do this. And I want you to just take a deep breath for a second, okay? Because I keep stressing that it's not as hard as people think. You don't have to go this alone. In fact, the most successful people, the most talented athletes, the best executives, they know how to not go it alone. They get help. And you can too now. So let's talk about that. Work It Daily was created to level the playing field, to give job seekers just like you the courses, the coaching, and the community that you need. We call them the 3 C's. And I'm going to show you what that means in a minute. Essentially, courses is education. Closing your gap in knowledge, giving you those cutting edge tools and resources that you need to find a job so that you are working smarter, not harder. That's one part of it. But you also need coaching. So as you're doing these things, as you're revamping your resume and your cover letter and optimizing your LinkedIn profile and prepping for the interview, you want to work with somebody. You want to converse with somebody who's trained in this, who's an expert, who can say, yes, the resume is good to go. No, you need to change that cover letter. Oh, we've absolutely got to fix this on your LinkedIn profile. And you want to do it with people who know what they're talking about. And then lastly, you want to be part of a community. So job search can be super lonely, but it doesn't have to be if you're hanging out and conversing with other like-minded people. In fact, it'll give you something to look forward to every day, to come in, work it daily, right? That's the name, and really get the results that you're looking for because you've got teammates sharing their successes, sharing what they've learned, and inspiring one another, right? The people in your life probably aren't focused on job search right now. And so it can be hard to talk about it with them, not to mention they're not trained in it. And they're probably not going to give you the right advice. So having a place to go where you've got the courses, the coaching, and the community is vital to transformation. So an example, at Work It Daily, these are the courses. these are all the video tutorials that we have for you that are all in snackable content that you can access on your computer or on your phone at any time. So we have a complete job search plan, every step of the process, resume and cover letter, interview prep, how to assess your own professional strengths, networking, career development, and tons more. All of that is inside of our platform ready for you to go. But we also have this incredible platform that provides the coaching and community. So we use a private Slack channel, which has an app that you can download on your phone or you can put on your computer. And that's where you work directly with our career experts. Our team is there to answer your questions and work with you, review your resume, review your cover letter, review your LinkedIn profile, work with you on your interview answers, work on every single step of you connecting and outreaching with companies, your dream companies. We're there to help you, as are all the other members of the private community. So all the other paid subscribers are in there sharing their stories and talking about various aspects of their career. These are people who have come to understand that investing in yourself is the single best thing you can do in your lifetime. When school ended, your investment in yourself shouldn't have ended. But for many of us, it does. We think we're done now. I've got to figure this out on my own. But that's not true. You need to always invest in yourself. And the people that join our platform, they really get that. But they're smart about it. They don't want to spend thousands of dollars. They only want to spend a few dollars, less than $1 a day, less than a few cups of coffee a month in order to get the courses and the coaching and the community that they need. And so if that sounds like you, if today's made sense, if the 8 ways that I just showed you, you went, I get it, JT, you're right. And now I want to find a way to fix this, but I don't want to stress out and I want help and I want it to be affordable. Well, then here's that thing I told you to wait for to the very end, okay? Today, because you started the process of investing in yourself, I'm going to make it even sweeter for you to come join me and the thousands of other people inside Work It Daily, okay? So normally our subscription costs $29 a month. Now there's no setup fees and you can cancel at any time. It's literally that easy. And I know people say all the time, wait, this seems too good to be true. But what did I tell you? We built this company to level the playing field. We want to give everybody out there that wants a fabulous career the tools and resources to do that. So it's inexpensive at $29 a month to start. But because you listened today, I have a coupon code here for you, Job Search 10, and you've got to use all caps, by the way. So actually, just Job Search, forgive me, Job Search. When you put the code Job Search in on our subscription, you will save $10 a month. So for $19 a month, you will get all of our videos, that entire job search plan I talked about that will remove all the ways that you're shut out of the hiring process. You get access to our coaching, so you work directly with our coaching team, directly with me and the team to answer all your questions, review all your materials. And you'll be part of an elite community of people that are investing in themselves that really want to take their career to the next level. So you're going to be rubbing shoulders virtually with the right kind of people who can really push you forward, right? Positive people. That's what you're going to get for only $19 a month if you use the code JOBSEARCH. But here's the thing, it's time sensitive. You're getting this video, our system knows when you got the video, and this is only good for a short amount of time because we know that some people today will go, that was great information, JT's right, but you know, I'll deal with that job search, I'll get to it later. And months from now, they'll realize they haven't done anything to advance their job search. I'm talking today to the people who really need to get it going, who realize they need the help and need a little incentive. So this is your incentive because if you wait, you're gonna have to pay the $29 instead of the $19. Okay, so I hope you'll take me up on this offer. I hope that you'll use Job Search, remember all caps, and save yourself $10 a month. As soon as you do, you'll get access to our video tutorials. You can immediately start fixing your job search and you'll be able to start working with our team and start hanging with some brilliant professionals who are also moving forward in their career, okay? All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I hope you found this information helpful. If nothing else, it's giving you a better understanding about what's going wrong in your job search. Most importantly, whether you work with us or someone else, please, I hope what you took away from today is that nobody should do job search alone. This is a team effort, and really when you work with experts and you get the right tools and resources, the sky's the limit. Just take a page from pro athletes and executives. There's a reason that they do it, okay? All right, everyone, take care. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you inside Work It Daily.